Soul Bridge is pretty much like a self-explanatory concept, kind of say like that our souls literally are bridges between the physical reality and the spiritual reality. Like literally enough. And
Mm,
it's a name that I came up with like years ago. And it's from a concept from a dude named Edgar Casey. And he pretty much says that so we are multi-dimensional beings living in a multi-dimensional reality. And
mm,
us being in the third dimension means that everything kind of goes in threes. Not everything, but a lot of things. A lot of trinities, and
mm-hmm.
that could be what that could be height, length, width, or past, present, future. The
Yeah,
Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost. Like
yeah,
it goes on and on and on like that.
oh, yeah. The
And
Three
so he's
Stooges. You can't forget the Three Stooges. It comes.
exactly, dog. That's hilarious. Um, the Three Stooges. Yeah, like a plant
mm,
matter, not plant, animal, plant, and minerals. It's just like there's so many of them.
mm, yeah.
The Three Stooges. But so he's he's saying that human beings also have three dimensions.
Mm,
And we have like our conscious mind, our
mm-hmm.
subconscious mind, and our superconscious mind. And kind of each of those correlate to the conscious mind is our brain, our thoughts, our physical awareness.
Mm-hmm.
The subconscious mind can be equated to our soul, and the super conscious mind can be correlated to our spirit.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So we operate in three different dimensions, and each one of our consciousness vibrates at a different frequency, a different wavelength
Yeah.
to create our lives and life in general. It's all just vibrating
Mm,
energy, pretty
yeah.
much. And so at the highest level, at our soul level, our super conscious level, we are aware that all is one, all is connected. You could say that is our higher selves, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then we got in the middle, we have our subconscious, which is our soul, which what he says is our soul is literally the bridge between our spirit and our physical.
Mm,
And a lot of
mm-hmm.
what like yogis or Buddhists are talking about is, we're put in this physical reality for a specific set of reasons, which we can discuss
Yeah.
a whole nother, a different time. But, we're walking on this bridge
Mm-hmm.
from being totally encapsulated in physical to then walking, connecting more with our soul, our inner self.
Yeah.
And then as we walk across this bridge, we start to get more connected to our higher selves, which is
Yeah.
our spirit. And that's what, one would call enlightenment, or, whatever, just full
Right.
on peace, whatever you
Yeah.
want to
Yeah. Yeah.
call it.
Yeah. Nirvana.
And
All that. There you
nirvana.
go.
Exactly. And so that concept was just really interesting for me. And so I kind of freaked it as like way back. I started like a little group of friends. And
Mm-hmm.
the way I see it is like, everybody wants to connect in one way or another. And a lot
Yeah.
of us, I would say, are yearning for deeper connection than we receive.
Mm-hmm.
Our society wants us to connect on a very superficial level of connect enough so you can get certain things done
Yeah.
so that everything can keep rolling, and and a few people can
Mm-hmm.
profit.
You're right.
There's not
You're right.
much energy that's teaching or pushing people how to really connect on a deep soul level, being vulnerable. And I've
Mm-hmm.
learned, I've always been, is literally my girlfriend gave me a little nickname, is the connector. It's always what I've been. I've always like introduced this person to this person, and then
Yeah.
they went on and created this thing, and I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
that's fire. And so Soul Bridge is just really it starts from me and you, of
Mm-hmm.
we reconnected.
Right.
Somehow the ethers kind of just decided that this
It's in
dude,
the ethers.
yeah, this dude that you met in sixth grade that you haven't talked to in 20 years, God knows how long, y'all
Right.
gonna reconnect and become brothers, and try to help each other, talk each other through where we
Mm-hmm.
are, where it's kind of well, I'm not gonna speak for you, but for me, I mean, we've had these talks of like
Yeah.
we are trying to tap into our emotions, our vulnerability, because
Mm.
we're learning that there's a lot of power and strength in that we haven't been told about.
Yeah,
That
for sure.
there's a lot of, like even with like all these religions, they talk about temples and churches. You got to go to these places to
Mhm.
pray and have these sacred experiences. But kind of from a lot of things that I've read, it's like, our bodies are our temples.
Yeah,
And if we
yeah.
want to connect with any higher frequencies, like literally it's right here. Like our souls are here. So we gotta
Yeah.
go within to heal ourselves and to find more peace and happiness and and
Mhm.
and truth, I guess. And so for my level, it's like that's what this is about, is us connecting and maybe not maybe inspiring other people
Mhm.
to talk about, like,
Yeah.
let's try to talk about more real shit that's really affecting us. Like, what's really going on with your family? Like, what you
Right.
really struggling with?
Yeah.
What does that look
Yeah.
like? And yeah, maybe sampling it for other people and just, I don't even know, let motherfuckers know it's real out here. We really,
It
you
is.
know what I mean?
And we're not
So
gonna act like it's not, you know.
yeah, exactly. And Edgar Casey really like sparked a lot of cool ideas, but in that specific one, I love thinking the fact that I am a multi-dimensional reality, and
Mhm.
sometimes when I get caught up in all the hardships of this frequency, I can
Yeah.
fall back on of like, I have belief in my heart that I have a higher self, and we all
Mhm.
have higher selves, and it's watching over me or whatever my spirit guides, helping me on my path to kind of
Yeah.
fulfill my purpose on here. And the last thing I'll say is, I've learned a lot. Like I did, like majority, I really started diving really deep 2013, 2014, and 15. And
Mhm.
it's been interesting for me to kind of see some of the fruits of what I've learned or an experience it in real life,
Yeah.
to reading it like, wow, that sounds crazy, I can't believe you can manifest things. What? Yeah, what?
Yeah.
How your thoughts are powerful? Whoa, how did that? And then doing it,
Mhm.
and like doing it in
Mhm.
a way, it's like I'm not so sure, but shit, it kind of feels like, I've been saying I want to do
Mhm.
this and now I'm doing it. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's my kind of encompassing over Soul Bridge. And said it's an honor to have you,
Thank you,
like,
sir.
as a fellow pilot. I'm not even gonna say co-pilot.
Here we
We both
go.
leading this
It
shit.
is
And
honor.
yeah, bro, what came to your mind when you hear me say these things? Where you at with it?
I'm in the same ballpark on the same field. You know what I mean, in terms of like just making that connection to others and those that are around us. You know what I mean, and like legitimate connections. You know, to your point, not something that's superficial or we connecting because we got things in common. We was both in the club. We, you know what I'm saying? You buy bottles, I buy bottles. Like a little bit deeper than that. You know what I'm saying about the stuff that happens. But I don't always want to say behind closed doors, but like you said, the internal things, right? The real struggles where we are, the the things that we have questions for that we might not know where to go with these questions, or you might feel like, heck, I just gotta like fight this down. It ain't really nothing to do about it. Can't nobody relate, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like really kind of getting to the crux of those things and seeing how one, I think the first step was like we all had like these thoughts and go through these, changes and transitions where our awareness grows and things like that. And it's like just being able to look at your brother and be like, yo, I'm dealing with this. Like I'm going through XYZ, and like this is new territory. There ain't no handbook on how to like, and being able to put that on the table and go back and forth and kind of work things out, sharpen each other. And if it's not even about sharpening each other, or like before you get to that stage, it's just understanding that no, somebody else is having a similar experience, somebody else is going through the same thing, and like you don't have to go through it alone. You don't have to act like it's not happening. We can like really get to it and find some peace to it all. So that's what that's kind of what it means to me. Soul Bridge, just connecting with others, and kind of building a community of those that are like aware and tapped in and are looking for somewhere to have these conversations or to work through their circumstances.
I love that. I love that so much. Yeah, I definitely, as far as the relationships were, it feels in my past, a lot, not a lot, but a fair amount of my relationships were transactional.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see it in society where it's like, a big part is I used to throw like really big successful parties,
Mm-hmm.
and people used to come and drink and dance and have fun. And that was like my identity. And then I
Yeah.
fell off the cliff where I hit this big depression. The whole situation happened, which we'll talk
Mm-hmm.
about. And then I fell off the map, and it was very clear to me who was like there checking on me to see what's up, and who
Yeah.
was there just like, yo, Ian, when's that next party? Like last party I got with this hot girl. Like when's the next drum? Yes. And like I could like
Yeah.
that was just like step one of me being able to see my relationships. And as I've progressed and Jesse moved out of the country, like it's
Mm-hmm.
been just so much easier for me to see like what is on either side energetically of
Yeah.
this relationship. And I've always been the type to kind of just like wear my heart on my sleeve. Like I can't
Mm-hmm.
fake it. I've always been like a wild, risky, just doing the most ball when I
Mm-hmm.
was like, and so as I started consciously like trying to study spirituality and bring it into my life, um, connecting with people is something that I noticed is one I'm naturally good at, but it was just it was at a level that only got this deep.
Yeah.
Like there was
Yeah.
a vast iceberg of myself that I was just
Mm-hmm.
keeping in, and me not expressing this part of myself was leading to all sorts of issues.
Yeah.
And then once me and my partner, we started going through we had issues in all sorts of ways, which
Mm-hmm.
we can or can't discuss that in the future, depending on. Got to talk to
All
her
right.
about that.
Yeah.
But
Got to check in.
one thing she would say is, Ian, like talk to your friends, tell your friends what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't be the only one who
Yeah.
you're like expressing these deeper aspects of yourself. And she
Yeah.
got frustrated with me because she would say this, and where I was at, whether it was with my depression or what I was going through, I just didn't have the tools to like be like, yo, dog, like I'm going through this shit and I need help. I need help. That's another
Yeah.
thing, man. Men, we're not good at asking for
Yeah.
help, but we all need help. And that's one of the most like powerful
Oh
qualities in
yeah.
a person is being able to
Yeah.
be like, yo, I need help. Let me ask for it.
Mm-hmm.
And my ass couldn't do that for jack shit. So I just remember like having a conversation, it's probably like a year and some change ago, maybe, with my homie Gabe, who
Mm-hmm.
another person I definitely want to be like a reoccurring person on this
Yeah.
drum.
Yeah.
And just like for the first time being like, fuck it. I'm about to tell him some shit with my dad that like
Mm-hmm.
it hurts, just hurts. And
Yeah.
then with my relationship, all the things I'm struggling with, and like we was crying, and like
Yeah.
and it's crazy. Like for one, just him listening, was so powerful to me and so helpful. And like as far as all men in my life, I feel I'm not gonna compare, but I just feel very blessed to have
Mm.
someone that like he kind of showed that for me. Like we've just been like
Yeah.
inspiring each other in this wheel, and then me being like, okay, like I know that Gabe ain't gonna judge me regardless of nothing.
Yeah.
Like I
Yep.
can just give it all up, no homo. And yeah, man, we shed tears. And he just like held space for me. Oh, and one thing he said, he said how honored he was that like I
Mm.
came to him with
Yeah.
what was going on, because like
Yeah.
as men, 30-year-old something men in this life, a lot of us we're not coming to each other with our real
No.
issues. Like
Yeah.
with me, me spending 6 weeks in Philly, I'm hanging out with my bros, and I'm noticing a
Mm-hmm.
lot of conversations are what rappers are doing this, or Philly's crazy. It's all these
Mm-hmm.
external things.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm like, yo, like what you really going through? It's hard to break that barrier. And when we started connecting, and you like, and that's another thing, is you reached out for me multiple times
Mm,
for help, and not only for help, but to just be like, yo, I see what you're doing,
yeah,
and I resonate. And like you taking
yeah,
that initial step is like has showed me like, oh, like Joe is someone, as we've developed, I trust, I love, and I
right,
feel
right,
comfortable of like doing this shit in a
yeah,
more public setting. Because partially I feel this is partially of my purpose for
hmm,
being here, is, you know, to try to help people see that like, hey, it's possible. We all going through some shit. Um,
yeah,
especially men, me being a man, like, yo, find a bro, go like
fine, yeah,
take. It's crazy how taking that first step of being like, dog, like I've been holding this in my whole life, and I'm scared as shit to say this, but this happened, or I
yeah,
feel this,
yeah,
and taking that first step, then the other person's like, oh shit, and then it's just like on.
hmm.
So yeah, I'm rambling now. Um, is there any, yeah?
Nah,
How you feeling, bro?
no,
Like,
I think the one of the key parts in that one is like asking for help, right? And it's a stigma that, you know, men don't ask for help, but like people in general, I think it might start becoming a generational thing as well, because we got so many tools, we have so many tools at our fingertips, and I think we're also more disconnected from like previous generations that could offer help in some areas, right? We not nobody's going to the old heads, or and saying, hey, how do I get through this? It's like no, it's a girl on TikTok that'll tell me how to get through my breakup, or you know what I'm saying, or I'll whatever. But I don't think that, at least, and I'll just speak for like what I see around myself, and I think for our community, it's like I don't think there's a lot um, of those conversations happening where it's like, hey, like, I hit a I hit a plateau, I hit a roll, I don't know how to get over this, or deal with these emotions, these situations, and like, so asking for help is definitely important, and it's something that, like, one is humbling for the person that's going to like ask for help. But like you said, you mentioned your man Gabe was like honored to like be that person for you. And that's also, it's humbling on that side to have like a brother or somebody to come to you when they, feeling vulnerable or like looking for some direction, and be like, hey, like, I'm gonna just put my cards out on the table. Like, I trust that, like, when I put this out, like, one, you ain't gonna point and laugh at me, or two, you ain't just gonna run away and like never speak to me again. So to be able to have that, relationship where you can like unload it and not just carry. Because I know, like, right here, man, the shoulders, you carry everything. Is everybody in Philly walking around like this, and it's like, hey, let's put some of that down, right? Let's put some of that down for a little bit, or at least, somebody around you to help you just unpack parts of it and whatnot. Um, and I think it's important in the long run, just to continue to, like, stay healthy in ourselves and not like isolate ourselves further, um from the people around us, from society in general. It's like the more that we can, you know communicate with each other and like in real time about real stuff, about pertinent things, like you said, it don't matter what rapper did what, if it's not applying to your life at the end of the day. And if there are things that are applying to your life, or that you can apply to your life, that you can find answers and help from, and it's people around you that are willing and able to do it. But like, we all have to speak up.
man, yeah, for sure. And I gotta say again, bro, I'm honored that
You know.
we're doing this like together.
Yeah.
This this feels helpful for, if no one else, for me. Let me be
Hmm.
selfish in that regard. Like, you
Yeah.
helping me out. If no one
Yeah.
else watches this,
Definitely.
and yeah, but to touch on some of the things you said is, first you talk about the elders, or talking about people with other ages. It doesn't have to be. It could be younger. It could be older.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's one thing why I appreciate the Sacred Inclusion Network a lot.
Hmm.
Gotta plug
Yeah.
that real quick. This is powered
Yeah.
by the Sacred Inclusion Network.
Plug that in right
Uh,
there.
but I get the chance at least once a week. I'm talking with people 60 plus, 80 plus,
Mm.
and I'm learning about their lives. and we're putting these little communities together that like we got 30-year-olds and 80-year-olds connecting on life, giving each
Yeah.
other game. And that's just something that's been extremely powerful to me, is that just the different perspectives, like, and it's not wrong or right. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
it's just eye-opening and helpful.
Yeah.
And another thing I want to touch on is, so my spirituality has been so helpful in my life. Like I can
Mm-hmm.
like look at from the moment that I like went from, at first I was really, it was like, I'll call it whatever, conspiracy theories or secret knowledge,
Yeah.
to looking at all this, to then that slowly moving towards learning about spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
I can look at that point and see how much it has helped me. Just like, wrong or right, whether it's reincarnation or not, whether there's multiple dimensions and free, whether it's there or not,
Mm-hmm.
these principles and ideas that have resonated with me, that come from many different sources, which makes me think there is some validity to them, whether it's the Aborigines thousands of years ago in Australia or the Mayans, so much connectivity in a lot of it. And it's just helped me in my life in so many ways heal, find
Mm-hmm.
my bravery, my strength. And
Mm-hmm.
so this is also opportunity for us to kind of like spitball what that looked like, what we learned, like get some things off.
Absolutely.
And we also talked about this being practice. This does feel like
Yeah.
as if it's practice for something bigger in the future
Mm-hmm.
that we can't even see yet. But I do, this opportunity to just kind of express what I've learned through spirituality and how I've applied it, and other people that
Mm-hmm.
I've connected with. I think that is also a big part of Soul Bridge as well. And yeah, man, things are kind of moving along how some people in the past have prophesized.
Yeah.
And I guess I'll leave you the final words, but I'll conclude with, you know, I've been told that there will be a lot of tribulations and confusion and
Mm-hmm.
chaos, shall we say, like with, we just had a
Yeah.
whole friggin' pandemic, or just,
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
there's a lot of shaking up happening, but on a higher perspective from our spiritual
Mm-hmm.
view, this is all positive. This is all in the
Yeah.
plans. We're all going through these growing pains for a purpose. And yeah, man, we're walking from the physical aspect of the bridge over
Mm-hmm.
the soul bridge. We're just getting a little bit closer to the spiritual aspect of the bridge.
Yeah.
So let's just keep on walking, man. And
Indeed. Indeed.
episode 2, I think this was a good drawing.
Real talk.
I'll let you close it out, my good brother.
So just to piggyback like off of what you said, like it's definitely I think a lot of people call it like a thinning of the veil, right? The veil is thinning in terms of like what we thought, what we were taught, what we learned, what we thought the world was like, what we thought was important. Like in our own time, a lot of us are starting to see some of those old paradigms and old, customs kind of like fall to the wayside. And I think for different reasons, I think collectively, like the conscious level is rising across the earth. I think like a lot of things that were heavily influenced by like man and their politics and what they just wanted to do personally, we started to see like you don't know what you was on. Like we're not doing that no more. Like we're not sorry, my guy. Like you had a nice run, but we're not doing it anymore. So I think it's a lot of that going on. And again, it's kind of a double-edged sword with the amount of information that's out here now, because it's like, a lot of information could be dangerous if you don't know how to source information, if you don't know how to vet, you know what I mean? And if you don't know what to do with it, you could get great information, but if you don't know what to do with it, what good is it for you? So I think with the more information coming out, people are learning more about themselves. They're learning more about like the world and even like in the spiritual area. So it's definitely an interesting time. Like you said, we've been going through some crazy things, like just not, and you only mentioned like what you mentioned is fairly local, even though the pandemic was kind of worldwide, but like it's all types of other stuff going on, natural disasters, uprisings, it's definitely an energy shift for sure. So just to see how things are playing out and will continue to play out. I think, we just gonna have to buckle up, and I think this is why it's important that you kind of find a tribe, so to say, to be able to, huddle together and be like, okay, like this is what's going on. We can see through this. We can like poke through this. We can like, strengthen each other while we all go through the, whatever the collective that's happening.
Amen.
You know what I mean?
And last thing I'll say is the thinning of the veil is definitely happening. Maybe that could be the next episode where we could talk about that a little bit. It's a possibility. But I think that's a wrap. Appreciate you, brother.
My God, thank you again. Number 2 in the books.
Yeah. Anybody still watching this, I appreciate y'all, all the love.
For sure. For sure.
Holla at us.
Soul Bridge, we out.
Let's go.